Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's going to be a huge one tonight. We say that every week, but tonight, indeed, it is going to be a massive one. My name's Honchi Prusak. It's my absolute pleasure to be with you over the next hour or so. And joining me, as he does every week, Steve Curtin. Good evening, Steve. It's a cold one tonight outside, but here in the studios of the Geelong Region Soccer Show, we're going to warm everyone's hearts tonight, aren't we?
That's right. I think a pretty cold top maximum temperature today, but we've got the ducted heating going in our Geelong Region Soccer Show studio, and that's always a good thing to, we're going to be warm, so you will feel warm as well if you're tuning in. I think that's how it's going to work tonight. This is the Manchester United Crystal Palace edition of our show tonight, so looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. But it's an exciting lineup of guests and results to look through from the weekend, isn't it? How you been, Tonj?
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic. All footballed out after the weekend. No, I lie. There's only 4 weeks to go before the season finishes for the majority of the senior leagues. It is very scary. What are we going to do when it all finishes?
Join us for the Geelong Region Cricket Show starting in October. No.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it's going to be a depressing time when the soccer season finishes. There will be a heap of, obviously the local leagues will still be going on. The junior leagues will still be happening. There'll be a lot. We'll be, slowly working our way towards the A-League season. And that's when we really start to talk about all the issues that are affecting our sport. I guess, Steve, during the season proper, we're usually consumed by the results, ladder positions, promotion, relegation, fixtures, et cetera, et cetera. But I guess once the season finishes, it's then start to talk about, analyse some of the issues that are confronting our game. Now, one of those issues I guess we will be touching on tonight, we've got the president of Surfside Waves, MIKE SUTTON, kindly joining us tonight. And he'll be talking about an interesting issue that's reared its head. The Geelong City Council is got some master plans for the Ocean Grove sporting reserves, and it involves moving Surfside Waves to a new location. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What are the pros? What are the cons? That's something I guess we'll be exploring tonight. Also, Steve, we've got another very, very special guest. It's football related, but it's not football related. Who we got coming up on the show later tonight?
Yeah, well, we're going to be talking about an event that happened on Saturday up at Myers Reserve, which was kickoff for Sophia Day. And we've got LOUISE McCLOSKEY joining us, and she'll be with us at 8:45. And by all reports, a very good day was held, and some good fundraising took place. There was a lucky winner of a raffle, I think, hello, Brenton Ray, amongst others. So well done to everyone involved. Obviously, these things don't just happen. A lot of good work from volunteers and a very worthy cause as well, of course.
Yeah, should be a fantastic show. That's a little bit later on, folks. We can see that the chat section the comment section is already going nuts at the moment. Santino Mamone, you're a legend. He's always trying to engage as many of his local football buddies, local soccer buddies onto the show. We're looking forward to that. We'll talk a bit later on about his club's visit up to Caroline Springs George Cross in State League 1. But, mate, we're going to take a very, very, very short break, very quick break. When we return, it is time for the weekend roundup, and it's a massive weekend roundup because we had the local leagues resume after a 1-week holiday. Folks, don't go away. It's the Geelong Region Soccer Show, episode 91. Can you believe it? Episode 91. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly. At Harcourts North Geelong, we are a local family business and a company built on family values, honesty, results and service. Combine our local knowledge and industry expertise with the global and national resources that Harcourts International offer, and the result is an agency that aims to deliver superior real estate solutions every single time. First making our mark in the northern suburbs of Geelong in 1991 as North Geelong Real Estate, our business has grown and evolved to offer a complete range of real estate services, including residential sales, property management, commercial sales and leasing, and owners corporation management. We proudly employ 30 sensational local people, and while real estate is in our blood, community has always been the heart of our business. We're located at 127 Separation Street in North Geelong. For all your real estate needs, contact us today on 5278 7011 or email us at northgeelong@harcourts.com.au. Harcourts North Geelong, delivering superior real estate solutions every time. Proud sponsors of the North Geelong Warriors Football Club. That's right. For all your real estate needs, jump down to North Geelong in Separation Street and talk to Joe and the crew there at Harcourts North Geelong. Fantastic supporters of the northern suburbs community and indeed the Geelong football community as well. Steve, let's get straight into it. It's time to look at the weekend roundup, and let's have a look first of all at the NPL 2 competition held on the weekend.
Yep, so round 18 has already kicked off and it's already happened on Saturday. North Geelong hosted Werribee City in that local grudge match, as it were. George Ellis was the difference between the two sides, scoring the solitary goal, and that got an all-important 3 points going the way of North Geelong, and it also helped because their rivals, Moreland City, a game that I popped into briefly, and it was blowing an absolute gale at Campbell Reserve, might I add. And they didn't get the 3 points. So that just helps things for North Geelong, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. If we have a look at the ladder there, after 18 rounds now, Brunswick Juventus, beware of Brunswick Juventus. They are a team in excellent form. They've got a game in hand. And with that game in hand, if they were to win that, they would basically jump into second spot. Now, North Geelong, 5 points ahead with 4 games to go. Doing exceptionally well at the moment. Really, really good. It was a tough game, though, on the weekend, Steve, let me tell you. I was there getting blown away on the scaffold at Alco Park. It was really a difficult game, and basically a last-minute bit of magic by George Ellis. He is one of the most promising up-and-coming youngsters in Geelong. He is a very, very good player, and he rose high above the pack to head from a corner set piece, and that was the goal, the big difference. It's going to be a tough one there for North Geelong. They've got some big games coming up in the last 4 rounds. And it all culminates with a game against Moreland City away in 4 weeks' time or 5 weeks' time. There's a catch-up round somewhere in between. Yep. So some really, really tense times ahead for North Geelong. But look, 5 points ahead, a far superior goal difference as well. Things are looking good in many, many ways for the Warriors.
Yeah, definitely. A tricky game coming up this weekend, a 5 o'clock kickoff up at CB Smith Reserve against Pascoe Vale. Pascoe Vale is actually playing tonight down at Kingston City at 8:30. So that one's, I think, on NPL TV as well. So you can catch that one after the show, not during the show, after the show.
Correct.
tune in and do a bit of scouting on Pascoe Vale, perhaps ahead of their game against North Geelong this coming weekend. But George Ellis scoring, and as you mentioned, he's got some big raps on him. And, as it stands at the moment, wouldn't it be great to see how he can go cutting it against the best in Victoria in the NPL 1 next season? If things stay as they are, that'd be great to see. So, yeah, very good.
Absolutely. Now, moving along to NPL 3, Geelong scored the first goal of the game against Mitchell Johns, but unfortunately conceded 2 goals afterwards. And at Wembley Park, they came away from Wembley Park with a 1-2 loss to Box Hill United. If we have a look at the ladder before we look at next week's result, they're in 9th position. Look, they're safe from relegation. Oh, well, they're 6 points ahead of Springvale White Eagles with a better goal difference.
They'll be okay. They'll be okay.
They should be okay. 4 games to go. But look, they probably need a good win or two just to make sure that they're going to be safe. I think,
and a good chance to get a win this weekend against the Springvale White Eagles, 6 o'clock at Stead Park on Saturday evening. That is the perfect opportunity to pick up the 3 points and get some confidence rolling into those final weeks of the season. Hopefully they can go out and play with freedom and flexibility, and they've got nothing to fear. They can go out there and just play some good football in those final matches.
Well, this really is a 6-pointer. This really is the game, the season-defining game, Steve, at Stead Park, 6 p.m. on Saturday night. So, look, do yourself a favour. Jump out there, bit of Saturday night football. Rug up. It always gets cold on a Saturday night, but here in Geelong. But
those good social rooms to duck into and hide, though, and get something to warm you up, whether it's a hot chocolate or something more spicy than that in a shot glass. There's a lot of good options there.
Although they are forecasting, I think it's going to be really nice weather on Saturday. I think 17 degrees or 18 degrees or something like that. But look, an important game for Geelong. They need a win. If they can get a win here, they're home and hosed. That's it. They're safe from relegation. They will be in NPL 3 next year, no doubt about it. Excellent. And we move forward. If they lose, heaven forbid, well, things will get really tricky. As you could imagine, Springvale White Eagles will jump to 18 points, just 3 points behind Geelong. Ballarat City, depending on how they go in their game, could make things really tight. So it's a must-win game for Geelong. No ifs or buts. They simply need to win in this game, and that's it. All right, let's move on to.
Let's go to State 1, and it was Corio going up to play Caroline Springs George Cross. Tough opponent, didn't get the result they wanted, lost 2-0. So I'm sure they'll get some good takeaways from that game, though, Corio, against a team like Caroline Springs George Cross into their next and their second consecutive away trip, this time to the Cross Keys Reserve up there on the banks of the Moonee Ponds Creek, and they're going to be playing the Essendon Royals. Another tough opponent, Tonchi. They're sitting in second place in the league.
What a tough fortnight for Corio. They were starting to hit their straps. They were really starting to get in form. And look, they did well. To lose to Caroline Springs George Cross, the runaway favourites, 2-0 at their ground, is not a bad result. This is going to be a tough one. But look, a week ago, they defeated Banyule City. Sure, that was at home. But this is a game that, Essendon Royals, look, they need to win this. There's no doubt about it. They need to win this game. And they'll be very, very pumped. But look, Corio, where they are sitting, with only one team to get relegated from State 1, you could sort of say that the chances are that Corio will be safe. But look, while there's a mathematical chance that they could go down, then we won't rest. Corio needs at least the 3 points from the remaining 4 games. Yep. But if they can even draw this game against Essendon Royals, it would be a massive, massive result. And who knows, they may well even creep up the ladder, depending on how Yarraville go. As well.
Yeah.
Steve, your thoughts?
If it helps at all as well, bottom place Clifton Hill are playing Caroline Springs George Cross this weekend, so that's probably good news for Corio if they aren't able to get the points in the next few weeks. But we probably should move on to State League 2 and talk about a really good result for Geelong Rangers for the second week in a row. This is good news for the boys from Myers Reserve because they played the big derby match, the British derby or the Scottish derby, if you like. They beat Hoppers Crossing, their rivals, 4-0. Joe Garcia, Nick Ballas, Connor Redan, and Nathan Phillips, all with the goals. And, well, I mean, I obviously wasn't there, but what a special day it would have been to everyone who was there and the players, because they would have had an absolute blast, and the club members and fans alike. And it looks like Troy Hardy played in goals again, did he?
Yes, he did. He did.
In that picture there.
He's wearing the yellow,
In the
looking
yellow.
looking very, very,
Very bright yellow, isn't it?
Very bright, yeah, very almost a canary yellow, wouldn't you say? Rangers, as you can see, are decked out in a different kit altogether. That kind of a blue maroni top, white shorts, and yellow socks, and that was all part of the kicking off for Sophia Day. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on, but in the meantime, if we go back to the ladder there, Rangers, a big win. Look. It's still not done and dusted. Moreland United have got 2 games in hand and 2 points behind Rangers and a better goal difference. Rangers are moving slowly up the ladder. They can smell Hume United. They're getting closer to that. And once again, with only one team getting relegated, it's going to be very tense. Rangers can do it. Like if they defeated Hoppers Crossing 4-0, they're running into some very good form at the moment. They're motivated. They're euphoric at the moment. The Dark Blues. This is an opportunity when they can really, really do well and start moving up the competition standings, and it's going to be very, very important that they do so. Oops, wrong slide. There we go.
Yeah, definitely. Against Laylaw United away. That's they probably might fancy their chances. Maybe they're in. They've got a bit of confidence going in the squad now at the moment. Laylaw sitting mid-table. Yeah, that might be a chance to go up to HR Urin reserve and come back with the points. Is the way that they're going. So let's see if they can do that.
Well, even a point will be very,
handy.
very, very handy, I'd say. Yeah. So it's going to be really important. Let's move on to State 4. Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good week for Geelong clubs in State 4, was it?
It wasn't. You look at the scores, and Surf Coast going down 2-0 at home against the Westside Strikers, albeit a difficult opponent. Golden Plains, they came pretty close, but they lost at home 2-1 to Greenvale United. Jake Krilic with the goal, and for Bell Park, Anthony Piratina scored, but they lost 3-1 to another difficult side in Laverton Park. So not the results they wanted. Chances to bounce back this weekend. Surf Coast host Barnstoneworth United. Golden Plains are going to travel to Laverton, so that's a difficult fixture, obviously. Bell Park going to Spring Hills. Perhaps they'll fancy their chances there, the All Whites, to get the 3 points at Spring Hills.
Well, they need to do Golden Plains a favour there and defeat Spring Hills.
They do.
And if the Golden Plains then can move a little bit more, who have the Plains got? Plains have got a real tough team in Laverton as well.
Yeah, so
this week. So it's going to be a tough one. You don't expect them to come back with even a point, let alone a win. But their back's against the wall at the moment, and even if they come away with a win, with a draw, and Bell Park can do the job at Spring Hills, that'll be a huge, huge boost for Golden Plains. Once again, only one team getting relegated. Over the weekend, I asked a couple of the presidents and coaches of the State 4 and State 5 clubs why that was the case, and no one could really tell me. Like they said, that was in the rules of competition at the start of the year. Why that's the case, I don't know. Generally was 2 up, 2 down, and what you're not. Although in this particular division, it was always one team goes up and then the second team enters like a playoff. So, who knows? Who knows why that's the case?
We might see parity restored eventually once the Federation has the appropriate numbers in each division that they want, perhaps. Hopefully. Well, we're still sort of chopping and changing our team club numbers in those NPL divisions, and it's a bit of a flow on down the chain as well, I think, too.
Yeah.
Now, we need to talk about State 5.
Yes, State 5.
Taking it from the top, Surfside Waves at home at their ground at Shell Road Reserve, of course, where they play their football on the weekends. They lost 3-0 to Maidstone United. Bendigo City hosted Deakin Uni, and despite Marcus Lindeberg's goal, it was Bendigo 3-1 winners. And then you got along, Tonchi, to Lara Rec Reserve for that chilly and windy 6 p.m. game on Saturday evening.
Yeah, it was. Look, I managed to get out there. It was quite. It was freezing. It was absolutely ridiculously cold. So actually, if it was. We might even have some
You got
footage
a bit
of
of
the game
footage.
there. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, we got some footage. Yeah, look, if it wasn't so cold, I think there would have been a lot more people at the game as well. But look, for a neutral, for a purist, it was good to see actually a few people from other clubs there as well on Saturday night. It was your typical State 5 battle. Sometimes pretty, sometimes not so pretty, but it was no doubt a very, very hard-fought battle between the two sides. The Lara camp was very, very happy to come away with a 1-1 draw to push the competition, competition heavyweights and take 2 points off them. They were very, very happy about that. Barwon, on the other hand, very disappointed. I saw Coach Dale Harris after the game, and he was not a very happy camper. Look, they haven't given up the total hope of promotion or missing out on promotion just yet. But I can tell you now, that's been a major blow, drawing there against Alara in a game that they really would have wanted to win and probably should have won. Milton Bailey scoring in the first minute, and then Joe Watts replying later in the first half. So, as you can see, Barwon now has 3 points less than Melton Phoenix and a far inferior goal difference. Yeah.
Look at those goals against for Melton Phoenix. 11 goals conceded from 18 games. That's some defensive effort from the Phoenix.
That's incredible. Yeah. But watch out for Balmoral. Balmoral, about 3-4 weeks ago, dipped into the transfer market, picked up about 4 or 5 really good players, players that probably don't belong in State 5. They're only 3 points behind Barwon and a further 3 points behind Melton. It's going to be interesting, really, really interesting to see how these teams fare in the next few weeks. Some really tough games. If we look at next week's games,
Deakin Uni next week.
Another derby, Deakin Uni taking on Lara. Look, Lara have got, I think their unbeaten record is now stretched to like 8 games or something like that.
Wow.
So they, if this is where bragging rights comes into it, they will certainly want to beat Deakin and then overtake Deakin on the ladder. If they do so, they will be sort of, for the first time in a long, long time, the second highest ranked Geelong team in State 5. Lara will be very, very much motivated for this. And Deakin, if they're not careful, they could really, really... basically, there's the ladder. Deakin in 6th, Lara in 7th. A win for Lara sees them not only jump into 6th, but overtake Deakin. And I think that's the more important thing to take into account here. So it's going to be a tense game, that one, at Deakin University next Saturday. Surfside Waves at home to Ballarat Soccer Club. And then Maribyrnong Greens hosting Barwon Soccer Club at Skinner Reserve. Look, it's a game that Barwon is expected to win. Maribyrnong Greens in 10th spot. A game they need to win and a game they must win. No ifs or buts. If they want to even maintain a slim chance of promotion to State 4 next season, they do need to win their next 4 matches. Simple as that. So it's going to be an interesting weekend of football coming up, Steve.
It is, and it's time to take a short break. We're going to come back with the women's scores from the matches that took place on Sunday.
Yeah, don't go away, folks. It's the Geelong Region Soccer Show, Season 4, Episode 91. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, It is episode 91, as we mentioned. Amazing 4 seasons we've been going for. And folks, it has been, sometimes it's been very, very easy thanks to the generosity of a lot of clubs and businesses. And, we've appreciated all the support of all the clubs. A big support, a big shout out also to Football Victoria in year one, and all the clubs. And we also had basically a GoFundMe page that was set up in those early days. So that got us started over the line. But now we're into season 4, and it is getting harder and harder. So we really are urging you to become a sponsor. There's 3 ways you can do this. If you're a club, consider sponsoring an episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We will feature 2 or 3 of your club personnel. We'll talk about your club, and that's probably the best way to really promote your club, and especially with one eye on next season as well, whether it be the juniors, whether it be the seniors, whether it be the men's or the women's. Also become a member, an individual member of the show, and that you can become a member simply by signing on at www.patreon.com/Geelong Region Soccer Show for as little as $15 a month. And the added bonus of that is you get a daily football news bulletin with original news stories sent through to you, to your inbox, your email inbox. And then the last way you can support us is if you've got a business, for your business to become a business sponsor or business advertiser, just like Harcourt's North Geelong has done for this episode. And there's no limit to how many business episode sponsors we can have. So there's 3 ways that you can help this show, and we'd love to get to episode 30. We're in episode 19 of season 4, episode 19 of this year. We'd love to get to 30 episodes this year. Otherwise, unfortunately, we may have to finish up prematurely. But it's over to you, folks. That's my little bit of urge, a plea, if you like. But Steve, we're going to now return back to what happened over the weekend, and it's now looking at women's football. Let's look at the VPLW first up.
All right, let's first talk about Geelong Galaxy 1, Burundura Carey Eagles 3. Probably the result we expected. Galaxy getting somewhat close to a team that not many teams have got close to this season. Emily Sutcliffe, a familiar figure with the girl from Wales, finding the back of the net. And so no points in that one, but they're going to try again against an even more difficult opponent when they go to BT Connor Reserve and play on the number 1 pitch there, which is some sort of venue these days. And they play the Preston Lions on Sunday at 4:00. So very, very difficult assignment. And yeah, just wish the girls all the best. Hope they can put in a good performance and maybe really push Preston all the way for the 90 minutes.
Last time these 2 sides met at Hume Reserve, Preston destroyed Geelong Galaxy 9-0. From memory, I think it was 9-0. And Galaxy, or 9-1. Galaxy will be very, very keen to improve on that. So all the best wishes to the Geelong Galaxy girls for that. Not a good result for North Geelong in State League 1. They're pushing for a promotion spot, but certainly this week's result has done them certainly no favours.
Yeah, no favours for the Warriors in this one. Marcelo Fierro, the solitary goal scorer in a game that featured 6 goals. Unfortunately, 5 of them were scored by the home side, Bundoora United. So that leaves North Geelong. They're sitting there in 4th place, and they're going to play a difficult opponent this week because they're going up to the Cross Keys as well. It's a popular venue for our Geelong clubs this weekend. They're up to the Cross Keys to play Essendon Royals, who are doing well. They're in 2nd place. So another tricky game. And if they can go up there and come back with some points, that'd be a pretty good performance, I'm sure, by North Geelong. And I'm sure they'll be keen to make amends for not getting the result they wanted on the weekend.
Yeah. And top 3 in this division get promoted through to next year's VPLW, expanded VPLW competition. So North Geelong still mathematically could get there. There's 6 games to go, or 5 games to go for North Geelong, 6 games for Spring Hills. So it's going to be a tough one. Look at the goal difference as well. Spring Hills at the moment got a positive 33 as opposed to North Geelong's 10, and Spring Hills have got a game in hand. So that's always going to be a difficult kind of a task, taking that into account. But if North Geelong Warriors can string a couple of good results over the next few weeks, then it might be a different story. But yeah, tough one on the weekend, and it all starts from here. State 2, things though are looking really good for our team, in the Geelong team in State League 2, Lara United. Look at that for a result.
Yep, 6 goals they put past St Albans there at Churchill yesterday. A hat trick for Izzy Wilkinson, who just loves scoring goals, doesn't she? And Hannah Gauchi, Lily Visa, and Jess Kenyon also scoring as well. So no shortage of goals and goal scorers for Lara United against St Albans. And they're going to go to one of the NPL venues, Port Melbourne, JL Murphy Reserve this weekend, and play the Sharks at 3 o'clock, and should be a good chance to get the result they want in that one too.
If we look at the ladder there, Lara United, they are the Invincibles at the moment, undefeated after 13 rounds, 10 wins and 3 draws. Look at that goal difference, 42 goals for, but it's the against column that is very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Only 4 goals conceded
Fantastic.
in 13 games. Coach Ryan Horrocks there doing an impeccable job with his charges, work especially on their defence. And they say championships are built on your defence, isn't it, Steve? So, I mean, this is a classic example of that being the case. 33 points,
Indeed.
3 points.
Absolutely.
3 points ahead of Altona City, who are a further 1 point ahead of Spring Hill. So, look, that's an important game. For important period of games for Lara United, if they want to stay on top and if they want to go through the season undefeated. What a remarkable record that would be if they can do that.
Definitely. Well, good luck to Ryan and the girls there, and hopefully they can keep going on their successful season and be the Invincibles. Now, let's talk about Women's State League 3, where Geelong Rangers and Caroline Springs Georgia Cross played out a stalemate at Myers Reserve on the weekend, 0-0, and they're going along pretty well, I'd say. Geelong Rangers pretty happy with their form, and they've got another away trip to Melbourne this coming weekend. 11 o'clock in the morning, they're kicking off, bright and early, so to speak, compared to some of their other kickoff times at Flemington Road Oval there, right near the Children's Hospital, where they'll be playing North Melbourne Athletic. And I fancy they might come back with 1 to 3 points in that one, Tonchi.
Yeah, look, North Melbourne Athletic, they're slowly inching their way up the ladder. In 4th position there. But look, the Rangers, they've got a game in hand. They're 2 points behind George Cross, and with a far superior goal difference, or plus 10 superior goal difference over Caroline Springs George Cross, which should they win that outstanding game, I think that's against Altona East, they would improve on that. Yeah. So once again, all these games from here on in are very, very important. They cannot afford to drop any points, because it is going to be crucial that they keep maintaining their winning record. Look, so far so good. A big game against North Melbourne Athletic on the weekend coming. So some really important games coming up, in the NPL and State League competitions, both in the men's and women's draws, Steve. Exciting times ahead, and as we expect, as the season starts to culminate and reach its climax, you can expect some really thrilling, not just games, but rounds.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You'll always have this one eye on other grounds and seeing what the results happen, because it's going to have some form of an impact on your own team's fortunes. But
Mark Sultana asking how many teams get promoted in this division. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I believe it's 3. But I'm not 100% certain. And that's mainly to fill that gap that's going to be left further up in the State 1s and the State 2s, for example. I do believe it's 3, and it could possibly be as many as 4, but I'm not 100% certain. I am pretty sure that, the VPLW, the NPLW, they are expanding to 12-team competitions. And there is also, I think, a desire at Football Victoria for the state leagues as well to be 12-team competitions. Extended seasons, maybe to even match the Blokes who've got 12 teams in a 22-round season, which when you think about it, an 18-round season or 18-week season, because sometimes there may be an odd number of teams and teams end up having buys and they end up not playing their full 18 games. So it's not a long season by any stretch of the imagination. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Steve,
that's
let's
right.
move to
That's right.
let's
Time
move along to the
to.
local league.
Oh, how nearly forgot. I was nearly going to introduce Mike Sutton. We've still got to do the local league. Far out.
Yeah.
Let's jump on that then. So we'll go with, we've got the
To the
men's on the
men's.
screen there first. So let's have a look at that. There was only 2 matches on the weekend, so
Yeah.
not a hive of activity. Bell Park 1, Breakwater Eagles 3. We don't have the Bell Park scorer, so get that into Sports TG, people. Breakwater Eagles, Ronan Gillum, Jackson Lane, and Daniel Lavelle all got on the score sheet. Well done to the Eagles. And Surf Coast 2, Armstrong United 0, Edwards and Rowe with the goals there. So well done to the Coasters in the men's Div 1. Next week, only 2 matches again. FC Leopold hosting Surf Coast. That's on Friday night at 7 o'clock out at the Estuary Reserve. Get out there to Leopold, or if you're in the Leopold area. And on Sunday at 3 at the Pelican Park, or the Armstrong Creek Sporting Complex there, the one that lacks any kind of rectangular field still, unfortunately. Armstrong United, they're hosting Barwon. And Bell Park and Breakwater Eagles, well, they're going to be chilling out this weekend.
Having a look at the ladder very, very quickly. Bell Park on top with 14 points. Barwon in second spot with a game in hand on 12. FC Leopold have got 2 games in hand and they're 11 points. So a lot of interest happening there at the top of the in the top 4 of the men's Division 1 ladder. Breakwater Eagles bringing up the 4th spot, 10 points from 9 games, but they've played a game extra over Surf Coast, who could jump into that 4th spot, the top 4 playoff for a finals series at the end of the year. And they've got a game in hand over Breakwater Eagles. So, yeah, it could be very interesting. Let's move along now to the women's division results and fixtures, Steve.
All right. So on the weekend, we had Deakin Ducks 4, Geelong 2. So those scorers, Andrea Thornton, Hannah Gordon, Alexandria Wolf, and Meg Reuters for the Ducks. And for Geelong, Sophie de Blaso Vasilevsky and Isabella Scafidi all were the goal scorers in that 6-goal thriller, as you were there. The other matches, Drysdale 0, Surf Coast 2, Mia McCoach Cripps and Rebecca McGlinchey scoring, while the other match that was on was Rangers 2, Barwon 0. The young superstar that you saw in the paper last week, Edie Aberti scoring, the 13-year-old, and Tiana Krilchich scored as well. So well done to our winners in the women's over the weekend. Next weekend, we've got a Friday night match at Grovedale Reserve at 7 o'clock. It's Barwon versus the Deakin Ducks Gold. Also on Saturday at 1 o'clock, Surf Coast hosting Geelong Rangers and Geelong hosting Drysdale. And you've got the ladder on the screen there.
At the ladder, the ladder there, Deakin Ducks on top with 25 points, but only by virtue of a superior goal difference over Surf Coast in equals top spot on 25 points. Geelong occupy 3rd position with 20 points, and then we've got Barwon Soccer Club bringing up the top 4 with 16, Drysdale on 5, and Geelong Rangers winning their first game of the season on Saturday in what was a massive, massive day for the club, which we will talk a little bit later on. The kicking off for Sophia Day. We'll be talking with LOUISE McCLOSKEY, who's joined us in the green room. She's patiently waiting her chance to come on the show. But before that, we're going to have Mike Sutton, the president of Surfside Waves. He'll be joining us right after this break, and we look forward to chatting to Mike about the plans that the Geelong City Council has in store for the Surfside Waves Soccer Club. Folks, don't go away. It's episode 91 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We'll be back after this break with a very, very interesting chat with Mike Sutton. At Harcourts North Geelong, we are a local family business. and a company built on family values, honesty, results and service. Combine our local knowledge and industry expertise with the global and national resources that Harcourts International offer, and the result is an agency that aims to deliver superior real estate solutions every single time. First making our mark in the northern suburbs of Geelong in 1991 as North Geelong Real Estate, our business has grown and evolved to offer a complete range of real estate services, including residential sales, property management, commercial sales and leasing, and owners corporation management. We proudly employ 30 sensational local people, and while real estate is in our blood, community has always been the heart of our business. We're located at 127 Separation Street in North Geelong. For all your real estate needs, contact us today on 52 78 7011 or email us at northgeelong@harcourts.com.au. Harcourts North Geelong, delivering superior real estate solutions every time. Proud sponsors of the North Geelong Warriors Football Club. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, Steve, and it's time for our next guest.
All right, he's in the green room, I believe. We've got him ready to go. It's the president of the Surfside Waves. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. MIKE Sutton, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks, fellas. How are you?
Very well,
thanks.
keeping warm on a rather cold night, I'm sure. And how are things down Ocean Grove Way with yourself, Mike?
Yeah, freeze. Come from a board meeting at our current facility. Everyone was dressed in snuggies on, and yeah, it's very cold.
Yeah, let's talk about the your current facilities at the moment. The City of Greater Geelong has released a sporting infrastructure plan for Ocean Grove. And what they've done is they've decided they're going to create master plans for all these different facilities down there. But they've got this now idea that they're going to move Surfside Waves from Shell Road Reserve, and it's been in the local press, the Ocean Grove Voice, the Ballerine Times, where it says Waves stand firm over relocation proposal, soccer club offside with upgrade plan. Tell us the behind the scenes of what is going on.
Yeah. No, it's look, made to sell papers or you know get your viewers in. Yes. So the reality is that we've been working with council for on how all the clubs in this region have on what a must for the future with the growth in the sporting growth in the uptake from juniors to seniors, with the population growth in this area going. And as part of that, as you know, or you viewers may not know, but we share it with the Ocean Grove Footy and Netball Club, and that rolls over into footy, the cricket club as well, and shoulder and season peak seasons. So we got no room to grow, and we've got that are a bit of a hindrance to us. Only our own, I've heard you on the Shelco Park, for example, and what a great getting out of the wind, and you've got their own sort of stuff. Well, whilst there is a great social rooms and pavilion where we have access to it, and we can constantly competing with the footy club, netball club for access to rooms and things like that. So we've been working with council, as all clubs have, and looks like for us to grow as a club. And one of the suggestions that has been on the 2 years has been for us to relocate to what they're now calling the Devlins Road, which is really the Kingston estate up in Ocean. Currently, there is an existing AFL style oval there in the what they technically call the Oakdean Oval, which is really adjacent to the block of land developing into a soccer precinct, all things being equal. The background as to where this currency in terms of the, you know, they've so I'll go back, gone about it the wrong way in terms of a timing perspective. Line is that they've gone ahead and they've put a proposed master plan together. Every sporting club in the region, in this area, except for us, but on us agreeing to move and relocate to a new potential home. Now, the reason that they've done that is that they needed to change the zone. The developer had to leave behind at Devlin's Road from a winged oval that they can then develop into soccer pitches and then a pro fencing and car parking and all of those types of things. But none of that is in anything for us to give our members concrete advice on. We don't have it, and they don't have it.
Yeah. So has this been all kind of verbal, or is it actual documentation, but not official documentation, so to speak? So is there like memorandums and notes and emails saying that this is what it's going to be, but there's no actual master plan like they have for the other venues and facilities around Ocean Grove?
Yeah, it's a good point you make, Tonchi, and you key issues there. One is the councils are bound by master plans. Master plan, you've got something to refer to, and you've got something to sink your teeth into, and you know where things are going. We've been talking to them around what our requirements would be. They've been reasonably good in sort of listening and sort of responding on, yes, we see it working. But, the councils being councils, they're always referring and, minimum, sort of planning point. Now, we've been pushing them to have this in writing, and countless of emails, countless meetings, and lots of goodwill between both parties. Really, with the push on us to support publicly the OGSIP to our members and get behind it, we've had to look at, well, how can we technically, we actually don't have anything to stand on apart from some, which, bullet points, the sort of the key. And when push comes to shove, they're admitting that their master plan to refer to, and all of these things need to come after this OGSIP consideration. Now, I understand why they do that, because that's just the legal position there. And our concern is not that not their intentions are wrong, but you don't grow a club and you don't get any concrete plans based on intentions. So we need it in writing plan for us to fully embrace the broader football soccer community in Ocean Grove. Club is going. This is what we've been working on.
Now, Mike, it must have been pretty shocking when you found out that, all these other clubs have got their piece of the future mapped out in these master plans, and then the Surfside Waves haven't and everyone else has. When you found out, it must have been pretty disappointing news. When did it all sort of take place?
So look, it's really been, as I said, the last 2 years. So really much a shock. It's more that we were put on the spot by needing to sort of get behind the OGS without really having any future plans. When that happened, it was kind of, it doesn't happen like in one meeting or in one phone call over a number of different sessions and became clear that this is the way going. And it is super frustrating, and it is something, particularly in our members, there's a lot of people that, rightly so, get their backs up about, thinking that, oh, here we go, that, you know, the footy and the cricket club, the local culturally embedded sporting codes are going to get soccer. And as we all know, soccer's been outgrowing both those codes, but you know, to some degree, it is when you're looking for facilities and when you're needing councils to invest in your sport. I suppose it is competitive, but you know, it's there's a lot of mistrust, I suppose, internally with council. I've got a good working relationship with them, but I can understand there's a lot of mistrust in the community in Ocean Grove that, oh, here we go again, we're going to get shafted. Put it, you know, the sweet deal.
Now, mate, the G21 soccer strategy, that is severely outdated. I think the last time it was done, last time it was updated, I might be wrong, I stand to be correct, it was about 2008. And it's been talked about that it's going to get updated. There's talk about, you know, GRFC been pushing with Football Victoria talking with council, this, that, whatever. Bottom line is we don't have an updated soccer plan for the region. If that was done, as is the case with AFL and all the other major sports here, would that have helped your cause? Would the developers, would council, would all of these big players around the region be looking at our sport a little bit differently in your eyes if we had an updated soccer strategic plan?
Yeah, look, I mean, the simple answer is yes, right? A strategic plan and put the right levels definitely helps your case and flows to the smaller players like us at Surfside Waves. And when I say small, you know, we're 30 members this year, so we're not tiny. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we're all volunteer. Me and my committee don't necessarily have time to go and do all the hard work and get all the numbers together and build up the that the footy and sort of cricket clubs have. And, you know, it definitely would have helped, I think, if this had been more of a top-down planning for the future. And I don't know the exact year, but I've got a copy on my computer somewhere up that age in terms of the G21 plan. I don't know, the participation numbers in that will be nothing like what they are
Absolutely
now.
Nothing, no. No.
So, I mean, we definitely, I mean, it's not to say that, you know, in the sporting sort of realm or anything like that, you know, we're not crying foul. We've been hard done by. All we're saying is there just needs to be some concrete planning done, order, or that you know, the don't approve the OGSIP until such time as there's a mark for us.
Well, I've just Googled it now, and it was 2012 that there was an update done, or the G21 Regional Soccer Strategy 2012. So that's 10 years ago. And look, at the moment, no doubt, well, even if all right, so, you know, it's an improvement from 2008. But even in 2012, the statistics, the data would be so out of date. And if developers and council are going on the back of you know, data supplied from 2012.
It's the wrong data.
It's a massive difference. Yeah, massive difference. Mike, where to from now? Look, do you wait now for City of Greater Geelong to come up with a master plan for Devlin's Reserve, or is it, you know, are they just going to forge ahead without this master plan? What's your biggest concern at the moment going forward?
Yeah, so line's a bit murky, to be honest, because they're going to the public consultation list. That's going before council in October to either be endorsed or rejected. Meantime, I'm led to believe at some point between now and then there's potential the master plan to Devlin's Road with our input. the real that's remains to be seen from a timing perspective. I suppose that the council endorses the current OGSIP, and even though we've got it in writing that we don't have to move or we don't have to go anywhere or do as we're happy with the new venue and we've signed off on it, that something does have left in the lurch.
Now, I suppose just talking about location, we're probably running a bit over time, but I just wanted to put this one to you as well. Where does the club sit with the location of where you want to be residing? Like the location you're in now in Shell Road, it's a good location. It's a central location. The trade-offs of that versus being a bit further out at Devlin's Road, if you did end up there, would it be somewhere that you'd be happy to go if you were able to tick off everything that you wanted for the growth of the club? Or do you sort of like where you are now, where you're right in the thick of it in the middle of town?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it is one that we've grappled with as a club and twos and fro's from both sides of it. The simple fact comes down to in this current facility. And we've got none in our own hands in terms of the social rooms, in terms of our identity as a club, for sure. But in terms of your question and more, then we're happy to, I suppose, in a residential estate. By the way, it's one of the fastest growing residential estates or areas post-COVID. So it's not like it's in the backwater somewhere tucked behind, nothing. And that will only increase exposure where it is. But that is, you're right, Steve, that to be given everything we wanted, say three pitches, our own social, all of those things, yes, we'd be prepared to take that.
Okay, well, we certainly look forward to seeing the outcome of all of this, and no doubt it'll probably create a bit of a precedent for other outlying areas around Geelong as the region continues to grow and develop. Mate, thanks very much for joining us on tonight's episode, Mike, and giving us a bit of an insight into the master plan there for the Ocean Grove sports facilities. We wish you and the club all the very best with regards to that.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Good on you. Mike Sutton, the president of Surfside Waves Soccer Club, will definitely be keeping a keen eye on what eventuates with that. Folks, we're going to take a very short break, a 30-second break, in fact. And when we return, we are running a little bit over time. We'll be speaking with the organiser of a very, very successful benevolent charitable day, call it what you will, that happened at Myers Reserve last Saturday. It was kicking off for Sophia Day, a very, very special day remembering a young past player of the Geelong Rangers Football Club, Sophia Gall. We'll be talking with LOUISE McCLOSKEY, one of the chief organisers. Don't go away, folks. I look forward to that interview, and hopefully you'll stick around for it.
All right, welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And our final segment tonight, we've got a guest. And thank you very much, Lou, for waiting patiently in the background. And not only that, for all the good work that you did on the weekend as well. And the lead up to it, it is LOUISE McCLOSKEY going to come on and speak to us about kick-off for Sophia Day. And look at those special kits as well. But we'll get you on the screen now, LOUISE. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for your patience. And how are you going this evening?
Oh no, we've got an issue with the audio. Oh
Missing
no,
some audio.
We can't hear it. We'll get Lou to just maybe
she can switch to a mobile phone or something as a
Yeah,
plan B, perhaps, if that's
might be an idea. We'll get her to just switch off and then switch back on, come back on. Yeah, so I was
good
dreading
shout.
that this was going to happen, unfortunately, but yeah, it seems to happen. So if we can get Lou just to log off and then log back on, maybe even with through her phone. But in the meantime, we'll have a few photos as well there. Steve, speaking to Lou McCLOSKEY earlier today and speaking to a few people from Geelong Rangers over the weekend, a very, very special weekend it was indeed. Look, on the field, we talked about it, didn't we? It was a special day.
Yep.
The senior men's ended up winning 4-0 over Hoppers Crossing. The women's local league, Geelong Region Division 1
they played
women's
afterwards.
team, they won their first game of the season as well. So that was awesome as well. I think we might have Lou back
I'm hearing
on
a bit of
deck.
audio from Louise there.
Yes,
Welcome, Louise. Thank you for your persistence as well as your patience.
Yeah. Lou, we're just introducing, first of all, thank you for joining us here on a rather chilly Monday night here in Geelong on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Firstly, tell us a little bit about Saturday. What went on? How did it go up at the end of the day? And yeah, tell us all about the big kicking off for Sophia Day that was held on Saturday.
Well, Saturday was actually our second. Did start just the year prior to COVID, and then sort of had a bit of error. And it was actually Lynn that was really keen for us to kick Sophia Day. So we sort of started thinking about it a few months ago. And I'm not sure. A bit of a backstory of Sophia. She was diagnosed with glaucoma back in 2015 as a 14-year, actually playing for Galaxy at the time. And what she niggled, an injury turned out to be a very aggressive, and she fought that really bravely and really fiercely years, but sadly passed away in June. So we obviously wanted to Sophia is still part of Rangers and our soccer family. Lachlan is still Rangers, so so Saturday was all about kicking off an awareness for her cancer, which was osteosarcoma, together and honouring her family and just sort of staying connected, remembering her, that more than anything she didn't want to be forgotten.
Definitely, and a very serious, debilitating illness. We've featured a case of osteosarcoma on the show as well before, which is something that can be something that catches people by surprise. And there's an element of this as well about awareness of it, perhaps as well, and so people might be able to catch it maybe earlier, and it might lead to maybe a better outcome, perhaps in the future for someone who suffers this as well, because it does seem to affect young people, which is so tragic. Yeah,
and the thing is that, like the sad, it is so rare. Like how does a young girl from West get a cancer that 1 in 22 million people, and because it is so rare, it gets very little funding in the way of resources to try and work out why are kids getting this. That was Sophia's greatest wish beyond her, that she wanted her legacy to be cancers, and in particular how do we, like, she didn't want to get, but more than anything she didn't want another kid to get it. If going forward we want to keep this to get bigger and better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a big day.
There were a whole
well.
heap of different. Yep.
Oh, I must be on delay or something, Tonchi. I was going to say that there was a heap of events. There was a raffle. Brenton Ray took home the bottle of Prosecco and some other nice prizes as well. So tell us about some of the events that happened off the field on the day.
We had gone away. Like, we're just a group of Rangers mums that really wanted for our club, Sophia's family and just, the wider community. And we were just blown away by the generosity and kind community, not just from the Rangers community, but people that we didn't know. So we started off with, we wanted, because Sophia was going to turn, so we wanted to get 21 raffle prizes, and I think we almost doubled. Was all donated from within our community. We had a wine. We asked the Rangers families to donate a bottle of wine, and we had, I think, 100, and we wrapped all those up in a $50 note hidden, a $20 note hidden. That was, we had a silent auction. We had Mr. Me, the band. They came and played for free.
Brilliant.
We luckily got Cam and Mary from Steam Pocket that for the day as well. So pretty much, and we had our beanies.
The beans.
Yeah. So pretty much everything we raised on the auction of the player shirts. So across all the games, across the week, all those shirts are up for auction. So we should raise some numbers in my head, and I think I'm hoping that we've raised about Wala and Challenge. So yeah, but we were just blown away.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic, and it's just days like this that really brings the community spirit to the fore. And having a club like Hoppers Crossing there as well, which is, I guess, in a way, a sister club of Geelong Rangers.
Yeah.
Remember, Hoppers Crossing was known as Mossfield Rangers, I'm told. So the Battle of the Brits, or the British battle of the two Rangers, it's always a big day when it's just those two clubs there. But this made it extra special. Now, Louise, you must have had a lot of people helping you. You must have had a lot, you're an amazing woman, but I'm sure you didn't do it all by yourself.
Not at all.
Who are some of the people that, here's a chance to maybe give them a bit of a plug and a bit of a public acknowledgement? Who helped you pull this all together?
Well, obviously, like, Lynn was the driving force behind, and like, she was off the ground. Like I said, we had a group of mums. There was Anne Graham, Sue Donnellan, Joe Macas, Georgia. We had, like, obviously we had Steam Pocket on board, and Cam's always a good thing. Oh, can we do this? He's always, yeah, you'll be right. Richard was behind the bar. Seamus is always just doing about, no matter what we asked him to do, he did for us. So much help.
Fantastic.
Just the young, the young resi play in the morning, just sort of, asking could they do anything to help. So at a window Saturday morning, and just watching, like, Dean took the device to warm up, and I think every single player had a best. It was really emotional. It just really warms your heart that people there and remembered Sophia. And just going back to Hoppers, they donated $500
well done.
to the charity. Yeah, and further to that, all going well, that Rangers stay in the league. When we next year, they're going to play in Sophia. They'll have their own badge, but they're going to play in Sophia's colours.
Oh,
So it
fantastic.
sounds like we'll be back bigger and better next year with this event again, Louise.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Steve Tillinger, if you are listening to this, make sure that the boys stay up. There's a lot at stake.
Yes.
But Jess Smart, big shout out to Jess, president of Hoppers Crossing. Fantastic club. Fantastic lady at the helm there. It is absolutely fantastic to see. Lou, and I guess it was. You mentioned there was such a good feel. There's a real good spirit about the club, but it's obviously rubbed off on the men's seniors who won 4-0 against Hoppers, and also the women's Division 1 team, the local women's Division 1 team, winning their first game of the season against Barwon 2-0. It's just that euphoria that continues. I've heard from a few people involved at Rangers that there should be more of these type of things just, going along. So maybe you've started something. You've probably now made some more work for you down up there at Myers Reserve. But it's great to see that it's really gone all well, despite the gale force winds and despite the cold weather. But it just seems, just looking at the video of the VO that Hoppers Crossing provided, the VO highlights, it seemed like a really, really good crowd, much bigger crowd than normally. So well done to you. Well done to all of your helpers there in pulling off what was a spectacularly successful afternoon at Myers Reserve.
No, it was fantastic. It was a great atmosphere. And just for the first win on Saturday, it was just that, it was the electric at Rangers on Saturday. And then obviously, yesterday, pretty dismal with the wind and the rain, and the women's 10 had a draw, so that was sort of good. That was like good enough for yesterday.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we'll leave you on that note. Thank you once again for joining us here on the show, and thank you for everything that you have done in terms of a charity at Geelong Rangers. We'll hopefully be talking about this again this time next year, and hopefully Hoppers Crossing will once again be part of the fixture.
Like I was just saying before, to really honour, so we want to just build on what we have done this year, and a big dreamer, and it would be awesome if we could just imagine if we could go a league level with something like this. And
brilliant.
Having so I'm going to give it a crack, and you never know.
Good on you, Lou.
I like the ambition. That's excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us, Louise McCLOSKEY from the Geelong Rangers
Thanks,
Soccer
Lou.
Club.
All the best, Lou.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye. Seemed we had a little bit of bad reception
glitchy on the audio.
Glitchy, yeah. I think both every time someone joined us on the phone, it just seemed to go glitchy a little bit. So we do apologise for that. But hopefully you're able to get some really, really good. You were able to get a really good idea of what was being said. Two fantastic interview guests tonight, and it was great to have them on board. Steve, next week we've got an interesting guest. He's going to be from Football Victoria. We'll be talking about history, and we'll also be talking about the Hall of Fame. And nominations are going to be called for the Hall of Fame, for the Football Victoria Hall of Fame. We'll be joined by Football Victoria's official historian, Tony Pasoglia. That'll be on next week. So we're looking forward to talking a little bit about history, about the Hall of Fame, and paying homage to some of the people here in the Geelong football community over the years who have done so much for our wonderful sport and our wonderful community. On that note, we're going to leave it there. We've gone well over time. Thanks, mate, for being a part of the show tonight.
Thanks, Tonchi, and all the best with your football endeavours for the rest of the week. I'm sure that there is plenty to come.
Yours as well. And make sure, folks, that you are tuning into 93.9 The Bay around about 2 o'clock on the Saturday afternoon, and you get a chance to hear Steve's dulcet tones in the Kevin Hillier's, what's the sports show called?
Yeah.
On the sidelines, is it?
The Sideline View. The Sideline View goes from 1 till 5 on Saturday, and we'll be on a little after 2 or around 2:30 talking about local soccer and maybe a bit of international or domestic matters as well.
Yeah, excellent. All right, folks, thank you once again for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show tonight. Please take note of what we said earlier about the sponsorship, about the business advertising, or even becoming a member of the show. Until next week, thank you for joining us. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and Steve Curtin was also with us. Good night.
Good evening.